What is up, guys? It is Cheeky King Tut, and I'm going to be doing something a little different today. Today, I'm going to be doing a video on how to start Warhammer, if you're even interested. But even before I start on that, I'm going to do a shout out. This is a shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you, guys. And I'll be saying your names. Yeah. Okay, Gosh 477, thank you. Banana Man, thank you. Cool Magic Tricks, thank you. EFMC, thank you. The Combined Films, thank you. Dana Poole, thank you. And that is it for the subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. On to the other video. Okay. Where to begin with Warhammer? Okay. Warhammer, in its basic form, is a story. That's all it really is. I don't know if it was made otherwise, but I think it was made by Games Workshop, at least storyline-wise. And they have made movies, or a movie, multiple books, a game, multiple Xbox and computer games, and it has just exploded. From there, it's just a basic, in its most basic form, it's a story. And they have, it is 40,000 years into the future is where it usually takes place. They also have a 30K and a fantasy, which I'm not going to get into the fantasy because I just don't have time. But 40 years in the future, 40,000 years in the future, mankind is on the brink of collapse. It is besieged on all sides by aliens. And that I just recited their propaganda, basically. But where it really started was, I would say, about 10,000 years before that. The Emperor of Mankind took control and traveled across the galaxy claiming worlds. And in so doing this, he created 20 super soldiers, the Primarchs. From there, the Horus Heresy happened. From there, Chaos. And from there, 40K was born. Now, that is basic gist. If you guys are only interested in the storyline, you might want to turn off this video. If you guys are interested in the game of 40K with models and such, stay. I implore you. It is a very fun game. I love it. Painting is a bit of a taxing time, but once you get your army painted and you put yourself out there, you're good. Okay, let's start with how to start Warhammer 40K. You're gonna need this if you want to play the game. If you just want to get into painting, I would suggest getting some Citadel paints. As somebody who wants to play, start going to how-to videos and seeing what to do with primer. Just spray primer and then you start painting. I use testers, which is just cheap model paint from Hobby Lobby. I find them to be satisfactory. Okay, back to the game. What you need to do is buy a rulebook. This is a really thick textbook rulebook. But the big, thick rulebooks have the rules, and they also have descriptions of all the armies. Orcs, Eldar, Tyrannid, Space Marine, Imperial Guard, Chaos, all of them. And there's a lot more out there now. But this is what you need first. Okay. From there, you need to buy an army book, which I have this. This is the Tyrannid Codex, which are basically your aliens. They eat everything. They're like the alien, basically. And you've got your basic storyline, some descriptions about certain types of Tyranids and stuff like that. But this is your second most important piece, because this is this is the army book you're going to play. But if you don't have the money to buy a new codex or a new rule book, I would suggest go to your local used bookstore. Maybe they'll have some. Buy those. I got this for like $10, and this is not. I flipped through this to read up on the rules and stuff like that until I could get the newer rule book and codex. But buy old ones. I've got quite a bit of. I've got a quite collection of the 3rd edition codices, and I think a couple second editions, and maybe even 4th editions too, because we're in 7th edition now. But Tyranids, this is 6th edition. So you've got your pictures of your armies. Got a picture of your army, stuff like that. And I'm not going to do a review just because I don't want to take the time and read through all the rules, because I can get some wrong. I don't want to do that. Don't want to disappoint y'all. But from there, buy a codex, kind of buy a rule book, big one, flip through, see what takes your fancy. Because Tyranids are more swarm. You spend a lot more you spend your points on basic numbers, not quality, I would say. But other than that, you have army supplement books, this is the Imperial Guard, not Imperial Guard, Imperial Fist, I think. I think this is the Imperial Fist. Yeah, the Imperial Fist. And this is an army supplement. You got to buy the Space Marine Codex, because these guys are in here, but this just tells you some certain color schemes, some more about the Imperial Fist themselves, a little bit more lore, more painting of them, like more history for them. This is not going to be your army book. And then from there, you've got extra codices, like the Imperial Knight codices. This is not technically its own army, but you can run this with an army, or you could run this by themselves. I wouldn't suggest it, just because it's too many points. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, yeah, a Knight Errant is 370 points. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. So, and you go up to 500, 1,000, 1850, and 2,000. Anything beyond 2,000 is considered Apocalypse. I'm not going to do Apocalypse in this video, just because I don't want to take the time. But, we'll continue. Okay, let's say you've got your rule book, and you've got your codex. What you need to do is look through your codex and see what type of troops you want to start out with. Now, troops are your basic format. You have to have at least 2 to make your army focused. You need 2 troop choices. 1, 2, 4, 2. Okay. And then you'll need an HQ. I would suggest you go and buy an army box. It usually has 2 armies in there that you can, like a game box. They have the Dark Vengeance set, and then they have the Attack on Ball, I believe it is, which has Blood Angels and Tyranids, and then Dark Vengeance is Chaos and Dark Angels. I started with the Dark Vengeance, so, you know, it was a pretty good price thing. Anyway, you need 2 squads, 2 troops, and an HQ. For humans, the basic troop is about 10 guys, except for Space Marines, which is 5. But you can add on a troop for Space Marines is 70 points, and then to double that, it's 140 points for a 10-man squad. So let's say you have... Sorry guys, my video cut out for some reason. Anyway, you have your HQ that you like. From there, pick your squad. I have, let's just use the Sisters of Battle for this. There's 10 of them. And I can split those into 2 5-man squads, or 5-person squads. But I don't want to do that. Let's say I don't. I personally would foot slog them, which means you don't put them in a transport, which a lot of people would say put them in transport to protect them. But if you're just starting out, I would foot slog them until you can buy a bigger, thing. A bigger box so you can put your troop into the vehicle. But I would suggest getting something more either an elite or heavy choice, or even a fast attack. That's a good choice too. Now, a fast attack can be a jet bike, a land speeder, or a person with a jetpack, or any number of any other things with any other army. I'm going with Space Marine just because that's what I do. Other than that, for elites, you have dreadnoughts, or you can have let's see, elite, more in the elite group of guys, which is Stern Guard, which they're more expensive points wise. And really, that's all that was in the elite for me. For heavies, sorry, there we go. For heavies, you have tanks, you have land raiders, you have Thunderfire cannons. Those are my friend. And if you play Space Marine and you have 100 extra points, get a Thunderfire. They work really well. Versus Tyranids, especially because they're swarms. And they don't get saves. Read the rules, you'll understand what I mean. But other than that, that's really all. I mean, just go out there, go to your local game shop. And if they're playing Warhammer, ask about it. See what color you want. See if you want to play a Xenos race or a Space Marine, a human race, Imperium. Look, find out what you like. You may not like playing the game, but you may like painting. Maybe you don't like painting, but you like playing. Get someone to paint them for you. If you buy a big box like the Dark Vengeance, let one of your friends play Chaos and you play Dark Angels, and he can keep that army because you're probably not going to play Chaos or something. Look around and do your research first. And if you then decide to get into it, rulebook. And even then, if you really, old rulebook, and then if you really like the universe, Codex. Go from there. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It is a very expensive hobby. I have spent countless dollars and time on this. It is enjoyable for me, and I will tell you why it is enjoyable for me in a history video about why I play Warhammer in another video. That's not right now. I'm also going to do a history video about my army personally, and I know that there is a Dark Angels army called the Angels of Redemption, sorry. But I kind of plucked that name and put it on mine, even though they're not Dark Angels. And I've kind of molded a storyline around them. I love messing with the lore. I love lore. That is one of my favorite parts about this, is all the lore there is. There's a ton. If you want to know how much lore, just visit lexicanum.com. You'll find what you're looking for, no matter what. You'll find it. Lexicanum has everything. And they don't diss out nothing. Anyway. From there, tools of the trade, I would suggest you get a X-Acto knife. People use other tools like more advanced heads or kind of shavers or something, specialty tools. don't mess with all that. I have this, 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 which is my glue. You're gonna need, I use Tester's cement for plastic models, which most of the models in Warhammer 40k now are plastic. There are some resin, which you're gonna need super glue for. Just get any super glue, Gorilla Glue works. Just any super glue with a certain model type. But plastic cement usually for plastic models. And then the only other thing I use is a paintbrush. I buy the pack of 3 for $3. And then I just use water to thin my heads. I can do a painting walkthrough on what I do. If you guys really want to see that, do a comment if you really want to see that. I'm not the best at painting, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the best. I'm not bad at either, because you might see some bad paint jobs just because they don't want to deal with it. I take time and hand paint my men, and a lot of people say mass production. No, in my opinion, individuality. Because if you're painting a model a certain way and you paint the other guy different, it gives him purpose. It gives him a certain flair to him. And in a game of where you waste models by the hundreds, technically, more like by the tens, you waste models on the board, it gives them a certain finesse to them, because oh yeah, that's the guy I painted 4 months ago, and I put a little red flare on his leg on accident, and he still got that because I didn't touch it up. I remember that guy. Stuff like that. And if you're playing this game and you cannot put your mind into your men about when you're playing or even when you're painting, this probably isn't the game for you. Or this probably isn't a hobby for you. Airsoft may be a good hobby for you otherwise, so you can actually do that. But when I step into the game store and I'm over at the table and I'm setting up, I just put myself into the position of these guys. And I love that feeling. I love that feeling. You guys really, if you guys are really serious about starting Warhammer, do your research first, and you will feel that. It feels amazing. But for more videos, check out Games Mini Wargaming. They are really good with bat reps, which are the battles, rules, painting, stuff like that. Just go check them out. They're really cool. They're technically what started me into the tabletop. But look pictures, look online, do your research. Just make sure you're willing for this, because we don't need more people who get halfway through and, oh, I don't want to do this. I've got too much of that at my college. I don't need that. If you're serious about playing, awesome. And a little heads up, if you guys start soon and it's within maybe days of this video and you seriously start, I am putting together an apocalypse game. If you already play and you already have an army, if you're near me, bring it down. It's free. I'm going to put it together apocalypse game with its own its own storyline and everything. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But that's going to be in another video, along with the apocalypse rules and what I think about that. But subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will see you guys later.